Let's go through the process of creating evaluations for our client. We have these 6 voice files, and as you can see, I have no evaluations. This is the process. Click anywhere in this row on any of your voice files, and this describes the voice file we're looking at. This is the client. It's the hyperlink, which will take us back to the voice files list. We'll do this again. When we mouse over here, you can see that it pops up New Evaluation. And so we'll click this, and it allows us to give our session a name, or it'll default a name if we wish. So what we're going to do is create 5 evaluations for this voice file, and each evaluation will use a different template. And so we'll start with maintenance and repair, and we'll just give this session the name maintenance and repair. And then assign this template to this evaluation. To do that, go to this little icon, click on Report Template. Now, these are the programs that I'm subscribing to. This is the one that I used last. The one I want to use is Maintenance and Repair, so we'll select it in this column, then click OK. We'll click Save and Close. There's 2 options, Save and Save and Close. We'll select Save and Close and create a new evaluation for our next template, which is Mapping Methylation. Save and Close. And the next one is Muscle Master. I just realized something. I didn't change the template for this one. Let's open this and fix that. There we have it. With this one voice file, we've created these 5 different sessions or evaluations. When I made that error and went back and corrected, now anything I do in these sessions is automatically saved. That's why I didn't have that Save and Close option here. So we'll just select Rejuvenation and show you how to pull points per that particular wave file. This tab shows us a representation of Mundane 3, and by going to this box, slide down to Active Template, what this does is it takes Rejuvenation template and asks for the highest and lowest points that are in the Rejuvenation database. So by going here, I can have hits greater than 0 or 1 or more, 2 or more, 3 or more. So things that have lots of information, 3 or more, might be more informative as far as what is going on with our client. For now, let's use 1 or more hits, because to have something pulled, like if I use any of these, it just pulls highs and lows and works in the predictive area, the current area, long-term area. I'll show you what those mean in a moment. But it doesn't really use the template. So we'll select anything that is in Rejuvenation that has 1 or more results. As you can see, there are some points it pulled and some that are even further away from the normal area that it didn't pull. That is why we selected this particular function for this particular template. If I had pulled that one manually or let the program pull it for me, it would have had 0 hits. How do I know they have hits? Let's look at this for a little bit. Notice that the red dots have different levels of turquoise or aqua around them. If you mouse over, you'll see the gray flags. The one on the far left says 24. The one on the bottom shows me which point I'm mousing over at that moment. If I look at this point, it says that's point 585 and it has 6 hits. That's why that ring is so much larger. If I go over to this point, 847 has 1 hit. The 1 hit is the minimum. I could have selected greater than 1, meaning it would at least have to have 2 hits, and these dots would change accordingly. Sometimes things cluster really tightly in here, and we want to have the ability to zoom in. There are 2 ways of doing that. The first way is to just simply roll my mouse wheel toward my monitor, and that will zoom in. Once I've zoomed in, I can hold my left mouse down and drag through the image so that I can look at the entire voice file if I want to look at other points more closely. And of course, pulling my mouse wheel toward my wrist zooms out. Another option is this region down here. You'll notice that my mouse arrow turns into a hand with a finger. Once it's in that type of position, left click and hold, and I can drag this window, which is showing me 250-ish points from the beginning to the end, and I can just use this level of zoom and surf through the entire WAV file. If I want to get further out, left click and hold any one of these flags allows me to zoom out. Of course, I can always zoom in really close. So this gives us the ability to kind of look at things at a narrower perspective. So if I want to look at this cluster, for example, it's around 340. So I can take this and then I can zoom in by just grabbing this and pulling it in. So these are some of the functions that we can use on the Wave tab. So we've selected points relevant to rejuvenation, and this information is also being represented on the GNS tab and on the Frequency Hits tab. But for now, let's go through the rest of our voice files and assign the points. The next one, nutrition provider. Pull points, active template, hits greater than 0. And that completes the most expedient way to pull points on many different evaluations on a single voice file that are related to the template that we're using. There we have it. We have our sessions and we've pulled points. And now we'll look at the other tabs and discover what information they are providing.